We are coming out of the summer period and we see the FunPimps ramp up their communication of news about Alpha 21. But what about the console version is probably the #1 question which comes up when 7 Days to Die news is out, and I get hundreds of questions about this in my videos, and frankly I can understand that. It is a great game and console owners want to get their hands on it. So when is it coming out on console? For those who don't care about anything else, I will leave a link below in the description with a chapter name release date for those who want to skip all the way there. A word of caution, it will disappoint you as the journey and information around the console release is critical to better understand where we are and where we're going. Instead, I will assume that you're sticking around. There are 3 important pieces here: facts, assumptions, and speculation. Let's start with some of the facts. The FunPimps wanted to go gold, it means a completed game, by the end of 2022 on the PC version.
So we want to go into gold next year. We're going to do our best, but we have a vision for this game. If it's not good enough to meet that vision, then we're going to keep going. That's what we'll do. That's what we've always done.
The FunPimps wanted to release the console version when the PC game goes gold. This is another fact.
On top of that, we're in negotiations with several companies on being our console porting partner. So rest assured, it's coming back to console. It's we want to do that. We're committed to that, and it's going to happen. You know, it may not happen when you want it to, but it will happen.
The problem with the first of these facts is that while it is true that they wanted it to be done by 2022, it's also an assumption for them based on their current planning that they would actually be able to. As I stated when this news first came out, I really didn't expect this to be happening, and now it looks much more realistic that we will in fact end up with Alpha 21 at the end of 2022 and not the finished game. The gold release will slip into, well, 2023 and probably end all later. But taken together, if the gold release is delayed, what happens to the console release? Another fact that we have is that the FunPimps have been evaluating and working to get a partnership up with another company to port and get the console version done. While it has not been officially announced, the FunPimps have said that early work on the console version has started, and we are now in August 22. It is fairly, extremely, very likely that they have signed up with the console partner by now because work has already begun. This is, however, only speculation and assumption until the FunPimps actually comes out and announces it. We can, however, see that there's been a number of changes going into 7 Days to Die, such as the Microsoft Xbox Store compatibility with the user data location for mods and so on, and there's been work on the cross-platform side with the introduction of EOS, which is the Epic Online Services for literally cross-platform play. All this is very positive. Who knows, maybe it will even be Xbox Play Anywhere if they achieve feature parity between console and PC version. I think that would be really cool. There have been a number of people who have suggested that the console version will never come. And I can appreciate the frustration. It has been years since the console version was last updated. However, quick research makes it pretty clear, such as this pretty random white paper regarding game platform revenues, that console gaming is huge. And while mobile is the largest, here's looking at you paying for stuff in your mobile games, the console market is extremely significant, and it's actually much larger than the PC gaming on account of revenues. And that's a fact. While porting a game from PC to console is not trivial, once you have a game that is more or less compatible, at least architecture-wise, then to not port it and launch it on console is effectively leaving a lot of money on the table. The FunPimps knew this when they first engaged with Telltale, because they did launch it on console before, or rather Telltale did. And as I mentioned up front, there's so many questions regarding console launch that it's very clear that everyone knows that there's plenty of console players out there who just want to see a console game. Taken with the changes that FunPimps have been making and the fact they've announced that work has started, I would say the likelihood of them suddenly dropping launch on console would be extremely remote. I just don't see that happening at all. So did you skip all the way through the video to get to where we discussed the actual release date? If so, the short of the matter is no one knows. And this includes the fun pimps. If you watched the video and didn't skip, you probably understood this already, and you have a better understanding of how to temper your enthusiasm with what reality is. Alpha 21 will speculatively come out towards the end of 2022. It should have a host of changes and additions on PC, such as coming with bandits. I would then expect Alpha 22 during 2023, mid to end depending, but it's entirely possible they put in a basic quest line where you help either the Duke or Noah through a bunch of quests. The current game actually already sort of supports this, as we can see in Darkness Falls, which has quest progression like this, so the fun pimps should be able to pull that off. The big question rather will be, at the end of 2023, is the game in a good enough shape to go gold so that they can make a launch of the completed game and launch it on console? All this being speculation, I would give it a 50-50 chance. It would allow them to take a big box on the PC version, which would be good, and take the box with console launch, which would be huge, and also end a 10-year early access period before it goes into a second decade. I mean, they're probably the longest early access game that I've seen that actually looks like it's going to be launching. However, the fun pimps also have a tendency to continually remake game mechanics over and over again, and this does slow down progress on the whole game as resources split focus. Look at learn by doing, went to skills, that now is going to be learned by looting. That's a lot of changes, a lot of effort. Now, the fun pimps, if they cannot go gold in 2023, what happens to the console version? And that's an excellent question. I'm glad I asked myself. Unfortunately, the answer is unknown. They probably would have a console version that were on par with the PC version at that point through the development with the partnership. Would they want to launch a console version that's Alpha 22 but not the gold version? Or would they rather hold on for maybe another 6 to 12 months until the game is final before they launch it? I don't have any good answer to that question, nor do I have enough information to really speculate. But what do you think? Do we get a 2023 console release with a final or maybe almost final game, or does it slip into 2024? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What we do know for a fact, however, is that people will keep asking the question, people will keep on being frustrated, and people will keep on being in the dark for the foreseeable future. Them's the breaks.
So rest assured, it's coming back to console. It's we want to do that. We're committed to that, and it's going to happen. It may not happen when you want it to, but it will happen.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.